Let's start in prayer. I think we're in Psalm 93, but let's pray first from Matthew chapter 6, verse 9. After this manner, therefore pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Amen. So we are in Psalm 93. What happened last time at 92? For thou, Lord, art most high forevermore. For lo, thine enemies, O Lord, for lo, thine enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. But my horn shalt thou exalt like the horn of an unicorn. I shall be anointed with fresh oil. Mine eye also shall see my desire on mine enemies. And mine ears shall hear my desire of the wicked that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of the Lord shall flourish in the courts of our God. They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing, to show that the Lord is upright. He is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. For lo, thine enemies, O Lord, for lo, thine enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. My family, my brother especially, a lot more optimistic about how things are going right now in the world, but I'm a little down today. It's a little depressing. But that's just me. I need to get into the Word. Psalm 93, verse 1. The Lord reigneth. He is clothed with majesty. The Lord is clothed with strength, wherewith he hath girded himself. The world also is established, that it cannot be moved. That's always comforting, you know. Even if you get depressed about things going on, God is a constant. Christ is the rock, and he is your foundation. You know, Satan can't take that away from you. You know, I was thinking of my dear friend, probably not my friend anymore, with some of the things I've said, but, you know, if he came up to me and confronted me about some of the things I said, I'd still say to him, you know, I still love you, you know. The offer still stands. That's what it is, you know. The offer still stands. It's like you still have a choice, even with the visualization of what people are about to do to this country, you know. Even if you shoot me, you know, or let's think of a sadder death. Let's say I'm the shoe in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That's me. That's the representation of me, is that shoe that gets put into the acid. That's me. I'll probably be whining just as much as they throw me in the acid and I melt to death, you know. So I'm dead now. The offer would still stand even over my melted nothing there, you know. The melted molecules of whatever was left of me as a shoe. The offer would still be there, I would think, you know, because my body is not, it's not that important, you know. It might hurt a little being melted, but the offer would still stand to my dear friend, and God's offer is still there, you know. But at that point, you know, that you could justify throwing that poor shoe in the acid, it's not likely that they'll turn around, but who knows, you know? When things really start getting really bad, you know, maybe that's the whole point with all of this going on, you know, things get really, really bad, maybe people will start thinking after 2 years of what the psycho is going to do, you know. Maybe they'll really start taking it seriously. Hey, Jack, we'll go on walking a little bit, okay? The winter weather's, I think it's affecting him a little. Lay down. Lay down. Okay. But yeah, you know, even if my friend came in and insulted me, cussed me out again, and called me a racist, you know, and did all this, and punched me in the face, and then threw me in the acid, you know, the offer would still stand. It's still there. He's holding it out to you right now. Even after all the mistakes we've made, it's still here. You still have time. We're still breathing. We're not dead yet. We haven't starved to death yet. Or frozen. If you're in my area, you know, they shut off the power. They shut off the heat. We're probably all going to freeze. That's a possibility too. See, God is a constant, and the offer still stands until you die without accepting the offer. Then it's too late, you know, and a lot of people will arrogantly do that. And I think certain kinds of sin will probably put you to the point of no return. I think that's the whole reasoning behind, you listen to, there's a guy from the Netherlands, I think, who gave his testimony. I think his name is like Charles Bernard or something. Something Bernard. And he was giving his testimony about how he escaped the elite banking system and human trafficking cartels. You know, he was involved with all of that elite stuff. And the thing that broke him was they wanted him to participate in some horrible crimes against children. And he refused to do that. And that's when he was exiled, and then he was giving his testimony. It's on YouTube, I think. Hopefully it's still there. I don't know. But that's the kind of crime that I would think that would be when the offer is rescinded from God. I think when you participate in something like that, I think that's their goal with that. To sever your ties with God and become pure evil. See, my dear friend, you know, he's not pure evil. He's a jerk, mind you, but I don't think he's pure evil yet. So, even after me as a shoe, I get thrown into that boiling acid, you know, the offer would still stand even at that point. So, got off topic again, I'm sorry. But that first verse, that's what that makes me think of, that God is still in control, even though you see everything going nuts right now. It's very depressing. The Lord reigneth. He is clothed with majesty. The Lord is clothed with strength, wherewith he hath girded himself. The world also is established, that it cannot be moved. It cannot be moved, you see. The offer still stands, and the world, as stupid as the world is becoming, it cannot be moved. It's going to play out just as he wants it to play out. Thy throne is established of old. Thou art from everlasting, everlasting. This is one of the verses that we went through on my NIV to King James video. This is one of the verses that indicated that the NIV was saying, oh, he's an ancient God. He was back in the 60s, that's when God made his appearance, you know, something like that. Versus everlasting in the King James, meaning beginning and no, you know, he's infinite, you know, everlasting, lasting ever, forever, something like that. The floods have lifted up, O Lord, the floods have lifted up their voice. The floods lift up their waves. I feel like that might be indicating groups of people, maybe. The floods have lifted up their voice. The floods lift up their waves. The Lord on high is mightier than the noise of many waters, yea, than the mighty waves of the sea. You could think of Nimrod wanting to kill God, build this tower so he could do that. Speaking a bunch of nonsense, thinking he could do all those things, and getting a bunch of people to do his work with this tower, you know. And then he ended that pretty quick. Thy testimonies are very sure. Holiness becometh thine house, O Lord, forever. Be holy, because I am holy. Trust and obey him. Thy testimonies are very sure. Holiness becometh thine house, O Lord, forever. Becometh. He's looking for people who really are his people on the inside and not religious yo-yos. Move on to Psalm 94. I'm sure I missed something important there, so please comment. Psalm 94, verse 1. O Lord God, to whom vengeance belongeth. My coworker was talking about some pretty dangerous stuff last night, and I don't know, as a Christian, when is it my responsibility to I don't know, scary line of thought. I think in the day-to-day aspect of things, you know, I really, I'm not a, bottom line, I don't want to hurt anybody. I know the ramifications of hurting another person, and then the chain reaction of how you can cause pain everywhere. You know, I don't want to be a part of any of that, causing any kind of pain. I want to be a part of sharing the light of Christ to someone, you know, and causing that chain reaction. But when things are the way they are right now, is this acts of war, or is it something else? I don't know. Scary, very scary. I just brought back my negativity. I was starting to come out of it, and then the bottom line is, vengeance belongeth to him. So I'm not supposed to take vengeance when somebody, yeah. Lift up thyself, thou judge of the earth. Render a reward to the proud. Lord, how long shall the wicked triumph? I don't know. It's been like 3 weeks, and yeah, today's Tuesday. It's been 3 weeks, and it's really been hard to be optimistic about my future. I've been thinking at work. I'm thinking like, well, he just stole the election, so you don't even prevent him from stealing the election. Why should I bother preventing these idiots from robbing my store? I don't care anymore, you know? Why should I bother with anything? Why am I going to work, you know? They're just going to shut everything down anyway, and everything's going to collapse. Why should I bother? This is so stupid. What is this waste of time that I'm doing here? You know? Really negative thoughts. Sorry. I have to share them, though. I have to... Maybe... Well... Yeah, I asked that question. How long shall the wicked triumph? They might take me down into that boiling acid, I tell you. And might take the rest of this country with them. And we might all die, but God decides on the soul, you know, and He will decide where my eternal dwelling place will be, you know, and that's what you should be concerned with, not any of this physical nonsense. Yeah. It's really scary times we live in. How long shall they utter and speak hard things? Yeah, I don't know how people have had patience through this. It's incredible. And all the workers of iniquity boast themselves. You openly cheated, and you're boasting about it. And you're giving me the middle finger. And he warned me about taking vengeance in the first verse. Yeah. He's so amazing, God is. They break in pieces thy people. How do you win the most votes in history when you didn't even run a campaign? You know? Have you seen this idiot? He didn't run a campaign. Nobody came to his rallies, the ones he had. And then you see President Trump, and he was at like 3-4 rallies a day. He was actually running a campaign and getting people inspired and everything, and then this death blow happens of bullshit. It is bullshit. Sorry for the profanity, but it is. This is utter nonsense. It's hard. And then all the math. Look at the math if you don't believe me that they cheated. Just look. Take a little bit of time. Don't just listen to the news report that this was the most fair election in U.S. history. You know, it's nonsense. Here I am, you know, and you know, I'm not even anything, you know. I'm a Christian, so I have to try to take a step back here and not, you know, but What about people who did vote for him that aren't Christians? How are they feeling right now? Real patriots in this country. What do you think they want to do right now? How are we being broken in pieces? You know, so you just hand the country over to a double agent, a traitor, and a criminal also. They have all kinds of evidence on him and his son. And you're just going to allow that to happen, and then you think we have to accept that with a smile on our faces as they eat our country? I mean, I'll probably allow it to happen because he's telling me not to take vengeance. So I'm not supposed to be like that. I'm not. I'm not. I see the way the world is and the way it's going, you know, so I don't. There's a reason why he tells me not to do that. But think about the other people who are just scary. Look at the division they're creating. They clearly cheated, and now you just want us to accept it? That's the most insulting part. If you had just cheated, but cheated well, I think people would be a little more comfortable with this. But your cheating was so obvious that there are real patriots in this country that are, I don't think they're going to take it. I'll allow you to send me to China if you want to. I'll deal with it. But I don't think they will allow that, you know. So I'm not supposed to take vengeance, even though I see this nonsense right in front of me. And I see the boasting from the media. And it's so insulting. You know, that's what is devastating me, you know. So I see these headlines. It's so insulting. It's so stupid. Let's get back to it. They break in pieces thy people, O Lord, and afflict thine heritage. They slay the widow and the stranger, and murder the fatherless. Yet they say, the Lord shall not see, neither shall the God of Jacob regard it. Understand, ye brutish among the people, and ye fools. When will ye be wise? He that planted the ear, shall he not hear? He that formed the eye, shall he not see? He's always the bottom line. Even if all else fails, it looks like it is. I just gotta take comfort in him. I need to be in my Bible a lot more. I need to be praying a lot more. I need to be with him a lot more than he that formed the eye, shall he not see? He that chastiseth the heathen, shall not he correct? Hope so. He will, inevitably. It's just, you know, it's on his timetable. It's not on my time. You know, I want it right now, you know, but he has a plan. I'm a wandering idiot. But he has a plan. He that teacheth man knowledge, shall not he know? The Lord knoweth the thoughts of man, that they are vanity. Blessed is the man whom thou chastenest, O Lord, and teachest him out of thy law. Does he teach you? Does he chastise you? He has to. If you're his, you know, does he punish you? He punishes me. And he tries to teach me lessons and get me to acknowledge, you know, He's building you. He's teaching you, instructing you, guiding you along through this life. Now, if he's not yours, like who I'm worried about with my friend, he's allowing my friend to he's letting my friend go, so to speak, because some of the things out of my friend's mouth shows how blind he is. It's very sad. Same thing with my brother. Not that my brother is, my brother just talks about his friends in the same way. They're blind out of their minds. They don't see all this coming down the road. It's 100 miles off. You see it, but they don't acknowledge it. Because. And why is that? Because God is just letting them go to their own stupidity and their own blindness and their own worship of Satan. It's where my friend is headed. He worships the world. He doesn't worship God. Even though he might say he does, the things coming out of his mouth indicate otherwise. Well, maybe not though, when I think about it. Because God did punish him. Now he bears that punishment all the time. Does he think about that? Does he think about? I don't know. He doesn't read his Bible though. And it's indicating that there's a tie to that too. Teaches him out of thy law, that thou mayest give him rest from the days of adversity until the pit be digged for the wicked. I hope so. See, you're supposed to rest in him. In these times where all this stuff is going on, I'm supposed to be resting in him. That's why I emphasized reading my Bible, which I need to do even more. You rest in him until the pit be digged for the wicked. For the Lord will not cast off his people, neither will he forsake his inheritance. But judgment shall return unto righteousness, and all the upright in heart shall follow it. Who will rise up for me against the evildoers? Or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity? Unless the Lord had been my help, my soul had almost dwelt in silence. When I said, my foot slippeth, thy mercy, O Lord, held me up. Wow. That's like a perfect psalm right there. Sounds like he's about to sin, or maybe to make some mistake, and then he cries out to him, and the Lord holds him up. Incredible. I'm thinking of the walking on water. He believes and he starts to walk, but then when he takes his eyes off of Christ just for a moment and thinks about the world, the seas, the evil all around him, representation of that, the symbolism, he takes his eyes off Christ, he slips then, but then it's Christ that picks him back up, Oh, ye of little faith. That's what I think of anyway. I don't know if it's related. finish this psalm. 19. In the multitude of my thoughts within me, thy comforts delight my soul. See, the look saves, but the gaze sanctifies. We are to gaze at him, just stare at him constantly. That's why we have this, right? Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law? This is a verse that my brother mentioned the other day. And this is what they're doing right now, you know. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee? Which frameth mischief by a law. Yeah, what a mockery of our entire system. That's what depresses me so much, you know. Why should I bother? But I'm not to be like that, you know. I'm supposed to keep going. It's so insulting. See the battle? It's so frustrating. But that's a very important verse there. My brother brought that up. Look at the mocking, the prideful evil they're doing right now. They gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous and condemn the innocent blood. Bastards. But the Lord is my defense, and my God is the rock of my refuge. And he shall bring upon them their own iniquity, and shall cut them off in their own wickedness. Yea, the Lord our God shall cut them off. I hope so, man. I really need some good news today. This is really making me mad. These media. God help us. Sorry for all my profanity. Psalm 95 next time. Thank you for listening. Have a blessed day.